I want to go right to Harry Hutchinson, though, because Harry, interesting here, we have a new article out by the IRS right around, the tax season in April, and we've warned about this throughout the Inflation Reduction Act, that it was about, they were always about the 1% and the most wealthy were going to be who the IRS wanted to target. But the truth is the most wealthy have attorneys and accountants putting together all of their tax returns and extensions and things like that. And we said it's going to be the middle class. And now the Wall Street Journal's got the issue. We know that as of last summer, 63% of new audits targeted taxpayers with income of less than $200,000, right at the middle class. Again, 80% of audits covered filers earning less than $1 million. So it was nothing about the top 1% or even the top 1% of the 1%.
You're precisely correct. So essentially, the IRS has launched an improvised explosive device aimed at the American middle class. In other words, they're saying to the American people, we are going to raise taxes by increasing our audit focus on the middle class. And so the IRS, as part of Joe Biden's plan to revive the economy, has sought to hire a new army of tax collectors to audit the American people, up to 20,000 new employees over the next decade. However, the plan has fallen short in the sense that they have not been able to hire the number of agents that they have targeted. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the IRS has promised and pledged that the audits would target the wealthy. But we also know now that the audits that have taken place so far have disproportionately targeted the middle class. And so you're precisely correct. As of last summer, 63% of new audits targeted taxpayers with income of less than $200,000. The only good news, I think, in the report is that the revenue agents that they've been able to recruit has fallen way short of their objective. In other words, they've only been able to hire 34 agents, according to the Wall Street Journal, in the first 6 months of this so-called expansionary phase, even though the IRS goal was 3,700. So what should the American people do in response to all of this? They should be energized to claw back the more than $80 billion that the Democrats have funneled in this tax enforcement scheme that disproportionately targets the middle class.
I mean, this was in the Inflation Reduction Act. We warned people about what this was going to do, that this was a boost, that you could call it. And again, the IRS was getting, this was the $87 billion to the IRS, the 87,000 new employees, $80 billion. And so far, the total that will be allocated right now, Logan, is $79.4 billion. The 87,000 number is the estimated IRS could hire about 86,852 new full-time employees. They still have, they're having issues with implementing all of this, of course, and actually, can you be surprised the IRS is having issues with all the paperwork of hiring new people and going through this and actually spending the money? Usually they're actually pretty good at spending the money, but the bigger issue at play here is that, remember, this was all going to be paid for itself, they said. Yeah. And the way that they're paying for it is by going after people who can't afford attorneys and can't afford accountants and don't have sophisticated tax attorneys looking at how they're filing their taxes. They're going at the increase in who's being audited is people making less than $200,000 a year. That's a 60% increase. 80% of the people audited individually are making under $1 million a year. So it's not about the top 1% or the top 5%. It is about the middle class, actually even lower middle class. So people that are hurt the most by these audits.
Yeah, no one seems to be shocked in the chats I'm watching. This seems like, of course, this is how it ends up. By the way,
what do they think they're going to ultimately get? You're not going to recover billions of dollars from these people.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to pay for your $80 billion plan with just targeting a bunch of people who make under $200,000 a year. It's just a lot easier because you could scare them into some settlement, and you can't scare someone who's making $1 million+ a year into those kind of settlements so easily because they have a whole team of people preparing their documents.